What's up, college football fans and Mean Green fans? Sonoy Valente once again here with the Mean Green Show, and I'm joined with Miles. And before we get into all things going on with UNT, guys, you already know the drill. If you're a fan of college football recruiting, G5 football, the transfer portal, any or all of the above, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because that is truly all that we talk about. Also, if you happen to agree, disagree, have anything schedule predictions, record predictions, anything like that, let us know in the comments below. All that stuff really helps channels like this get picked up by the YouTube algorithm and get pushed out to a little bit broader of an audience. Also, I just want to hear what you guys have to say. All right, Miles. So here we are coming off a bye week, and I know we're going to talk about Missouri and everything, but besides that, the obvious, I mean, what do you what's your headspace at? I know you made the trip out to Ruston. I mean, how was that? Did you enjoy it? Are you glad you went? And yeah, just let us know a little bit about that and how that went.
Well, I'm doing good right now. I mean, I wasn't, I was planning on going to at least 10 games this year. And I just felt like going to Ruston just to support them, just to make a trip. And why not? I mean, they were playing bad, coming off of the worst loss in the Latrell era for sure, um, to UAB. But I mean, it was just a weird game. This whole season has been really weird. And I don't think we should call it a wash yet. There's still a lot of football to be played, but it's just a weird time right now. And we had all this. I mean, I had all this positive, kind of like green glasses type takes in the off season, and because I thought they looked great, and I really did think they did, and they were going to translate it onto the field once it comes to real time. But so far, it's been a little underwhelming, and there's a lot of things I hope they worked on over the bye week because this was probably a much needed bye week considering the last 3 weeks they played. SMU, UAB, then Louisiana Tech. That's three hard hitting teams. But then now you have another three hard hitting teams with Missouri, Marshall, and then Liberty, who completely annihilated UAB in front of their first their first game in the new stadium, which was kind of telling how Malik Willis was going to do in our game. But I mean, I'm not very confident going to this Missouri game. I know Missouri just did not look that good last week. But right now, I mean, I don't know what to think. I'm just gonna show up to the home games and support them and keep on talking on Twitter.
Yeah, and I hate to be all doom and gloom, and that's definitely not going to be the trend of this show per se. But you just made the comment of the UAB loss being the worst in Seth Luttrell's era, or in his era. Man, I never thought of it like that, but I think you're probably right. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, that's
Oh, there's
probably
no
pretty.
doubt. I mean, when they played Florida in 2016, they got shut out. But I mean, that Florida team was pretty dang good. I mean, they had
Right.
NFL type talent. The UAB is not Florida. They're not that good. We saw they got blasted against Liberty, so it was definitely the worst loss we've seen in Seth Luttrell's era, and it looked embarrassing. But luckily, that's behind us, and I hope they've kind of learned off of that game and the past game they just played. The younger guys for sure, because the younger guys are going to step up with injuries in the wide receiving area. I mean, they're going to step up and really make plays because if we don't have that type of production, I mean, we saw how the offense has been in the past few weeks. It's been really just not very good. And I hate say I haven't said that in a long time, but it's just not very good, and we have to embrace that. But I'm hoping to see some of those guys kind of step up.
Yeah, I haven't seen a depth chart out yet for Missouri, but hopefully we get some of the receivers back, like Lorenzo and Deontay Simpson's maybe more healed coming off a bye week. I don't know if we'll see Shorter again or not, but hopefully our receiving room, we get some of our key guys back. But a little bit kind of looking around the conference a little before we get into this Missouri game specifically. UTSA sadly is killing it, and we're picking a really bad year to fall apart. Not saying that it's over yet; it's not a wash yet. Still a lot of football to be played, and things could happen. It could happen, and we gotta appreciate every game that we get. Anyway, but and UTSA 5-0, right? That's what they are, or
Yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah.
5-0. SMU as well. Are they not going to be able to go to the next conference though because of financial reasons? Is that a real thing? I saw some tweet about that. I don't know how serious that is. Maybe if Jared's watching, Jared, let us know in the comments below if you happen to see this clip, if this is legit or not. But I mean, did you hear anything about that?
I did. I looked on the UTSA forum, Rowdy talking. It was like 8 in the morning, and they posted it, and I was like, "That's interesting because it makes sense." I mean, I don't think UTSA has that much money. I mean, neither do we, but at the same time, I would think we would be able to get past the exit fee, unlike what UTSA is doing. But that's very interesting. I mean, they're also a type of program because, okay, first of all, I think SMU is way better than UTSA because SMU has actually had a quality win. I don't count Illinois or Memphis as a quality win for UTSA. I think they are. I mean, they barely beat UNLV. UNLV lost to Eastern Washington. I mean, I just think that it's just funny that they're being considered for a new conference. Not trying to be
Mhm.
bitter here. I don't think we're that much considered either. But it's just funny because Jeff Traylor is not going to be staying in the next 2 years. There's no way he is here. He's going to stay here at not here, but in San Antonio because he's a great coach. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He can recruit, but there's other programs like Texas Tech that would take him, and it's
Right.
just unbelievable how fast they've gotten. I mean, because last year it was a COVID year, he came in there and he turned the program around. And on the forum board, I remember people were talking about how we should have given them second chances as a COVID year. All the assistant coaches they got fired, and people were like, "Well, how come? What about look at UTSA? Whole new coaching staff, and they got those guys ready right then." And it's very impressive by UTSA. But overall, I mean, the conference is a mess. Nobody's going to win it. They should just tie, move on the basketball season. That's my opinion. But
Right.
um,
And believe me, I am right there with you with my dislike for UTSA and everything that they are and everything, whatever. However, yeah, they may not have had the toughest schedule, but we can't deny they are still 5-0 with, granted, all being, Illinois is not that great, with a Power 5 win, and they beat a pretty decent Memphis team. But nevertheless, they're 5-0. And that's just, oh man, what? And we're in this, just hellhole of what are we, 1-4, 1-3,
three, right?
one and
Don't
three.
predict the future.
Yeah, yeah, 1-3. And that's tough mudding. And speaking on Jared again, I asked him, I was like, you think you guys can hold on to Jeff Traylor even after this year? And he said he had an interesting opinion on it. He said that he didn't believe that Traylor wouldn't be as appealing to schools, as appealing to other schools outside of Texas, just because of his Texas ties, I guess, or if you will. That was interesting that he said that, because I would think, because his Texas ties are so strong, which they are, that any school outside of Texas would really want him, because he brings that pipeline, if you will, to that school. But you mentioned Tech. I don't know when they'll have an opening, but that would be, I could totally see him going to Texas Tech. I think that would be actually a really good move for him, and a good hire by Tech. And I think that would be winning on both sides as far as Traylor and Tech's end. But I wonder if that could happen after this year or not. Interesting stuff, though. Um, yeah, that is tough. And obviously our recruiting end has been a little bit quiet, a little too quiet, which has kind of been the things that kind of keep us going during the season. If the season isn't going good, usually our recruiting is, exciting enough to at least talk about. But aside from Vincent Page always, showing how committed he is, God bless him, we haven't really heard too much. I mean, so
Well, I mean,
any
it's the moral of this year for North Texas. I mean, just nothing's really, nothing's not really working. It's just not happening. It's just slow. I mean, I don't expect him to get another commit for a while, to be honest. I mean, I just don't see anybody really right now. It's the middle of the season. Not many people commit during the middle of the season. More people commit during the off season or during right before the signing period. So it's really bad to look at, but at the same time, we have to remember that there's a lot of other players on this roster that are going to be super seniors and all that. So I'm just interested to see how they set up the roster for next year with all these players that might be coming back and all of that. But the group of guys we have right now are still really good. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Vincent Page, we've been seeing. I went to one of the games against I forgot who they played. They played someone, and he did really good. I'm glad we still have him, these group of guys are definitely going to get playing time sooner rather than later, depending on if we can develop the other guys we have in the room right now. But I'm not surprised by the fact that we only have 4 commits. I mean, I was expecting more, but at this rate, I just don't see any more coming.
Yeah, we'll see how all that shakes out. So, kind of moving down to the Missouri game. Who do you think is going to start at quarterback? You think we're going to go with Austin Aune, or you think they're going to go with Reuter?
I mean, this is just like last year, and I don't like it, but I guess it's gonna have to be Ani, because he showed that he could do something in the Louisiana Tech game. Even though, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Missouri's overall team, they got hung 62 on them last week at home, which is kind of like, wow, is their defense not that good or what? Uh, I just think we see Ani out there run out. I mean, who knows what happens? I mean, we were all thinking Ruder was going to go up there and flat out dominate, and Ani was going to be a guy that comes in, whenever we need him. Right now, it's just been the complete opposite of what I thought, and it's kind of baffling. I was really expecting a lot more, but I'm just excited to see if they can get over 100 passing yards. We haven't got over 100 passing yards in the past 2 games. That hasn't happened. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. When was the last time we had over 100 passing yards? I can't remember that. It's probably been 100 years.
Probably when we were under center.
Probably when Abner Hayes was the running back in 1959. That was probably the last time we had under 100 yards passing. And with the offense that Luttrell has, I mean, you would think you get more than 100 yards passing, but I don't know. We'll see what they have in the next few weeks. Next few weeks are going to be a big test offensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously, I mean, I think everybody knows I'm a pretty big Jace Reuter fan. Just having the opportunity to speak with him some and having him on the show, and but in Luttrell's defense, I guess, they did give him or have given him 4 games up to this point to start, and make some mistakes and keep him in, and until I think he was 3 for 10 at Louisiana Tech, and obviously they made the move there, and Ani came in and played pretty well, which Ani is comparable, and not saying Reuter is not talented or doesn't have a future even here, going forward, even if it's not this year, but we are down a lot of receivers, and Reuter still is new to this offense, so kind of the mixture of the two. And the schedule's, we haven't really got an easy team yet, and who knows if we ever will. But I feel like they have given him a lot of opportunities to, be that. Oh, I think I just lost Miles. Well, that's never happened. Well, if he joins back in, that's great. If not, I guess I'm just going to wrap this thing up by myself here. Anyway, moral of the story is, guys, I think Reuter's still good. He's been given a lot of opportunities, but I think we're going to see Ani, and I mean, I'm not expecting much out of this Missouri game as far as a win. Miles just came back. Welcome back, Miles. I was talking to myself for a little bit there.
I don't know what just happened. I don't know.
It's Missouri. They tapped us. They know we're talking about them, and they're scared. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing that's the only explanation I can think of. Twitter's down, or Facebook's down, Instagram's down. They're trying to shut us down. Mm-hmm. We're next. But anyway, so I was kind of talking about the Missouri game. I think we're going to see Ani, and I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are, and then I want to hear yours. This isn't taking any type of football IQ to guess this. Obviously, I mean, that's an SEC school. No way am I expecting to win that game. But what I would like to see, I like to see a good showing on the defense, and you know that doesn't mean I'm expecting them to hold the defense to hold them to under 30 points per se. I very well could see them scoring more than 30, but you know, still the defense playing solid as they can in doing so. But I would like to see on the offensive side just some good drives. You know, I mean, the bombs are fun and everything. You know, big play down the field to Deontay and him losing his helmet and all that, and that's great. And those are always welcome. But more than just a flash play, which we haven't even seen that this year, that was more last year. I would just like to see some consistency. I don't want to see a halfback dive. Good God Almighty, for the love of my mental health, please, dear Lord, I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see that play. I don't care if it's 4th and inches. I don't care if it's 4th and goal. Do not halfback dive it, please. Don't want to see that. And let's just, you know, almost as weird as it may sound, try to use this as a tune-up game. And even though you that's usually preserved for the FCS schools, not really the SEC schools. But if we're not going to win this game, you know, maybe just work on some stuff, work on some passing game, you know, work on routes that if we got new receivers that, you know, hey, this is what we're going to need you guys to do in the backstretch of this conference play. So let's work on it here. Even whenever if Missouri goes up big the first half or the first 3 quarters and they bring their backups in, let's really, again, work things that we will see or need to see in order to win some of these games on the back half. But you know, what are your expectations for this game, and what would you like to see?
I mean, not getting punched in the face in the first quarter. Last 2 games, you know, we're just getting slugged in the face each and every drive, and uh, just starting out fast on offense. You know, because first down runs are going to be the killer of me, and I think everybody in the North Texas fan base. There's just been no creativity. I know you don't have the guys quite to do the creativity in you know Shorter and Bush and Simpson and all the other people who have been out in the wide receiving core, but it's just been so vanilla. I just don't understand where it all went. And I know Graham Harrell was probably the big reason, but you know you don't have the guy like Jalen Darden from last year, so I just expect more energy in the first half. I mean, if we could, like SMU, you look at SMU. We started out really good. You know, we forced turnovers. We were, I mean, offensively we weren't that great, but we were still driving down the field, not quite finishing, but still driving down the field and making better plays. If we can just get a hot start and get ahead, maybe even get ahead in this game. You know, the defense has been playing very well when they need to. You know, they need the motivation like they had against SMU because we saw it. I mean, they were just flat out dominating that SMU offensive line. If they can try to get close to doing that against Missouri, I think it'll be an entertaining game to watch. But I just expect, I mean, hold them to under 35 points. No, under 42. Under 42 points, I hope, and score over 20, get over 100 passing yards. Don't run Torrey into the ground, into his grave, because he's had 1,000 touches and he's still not even he's probably got 100% now. But I mean, during that Louisiana Tech game, I don't think he was 100%. I mean, they were getting guys way down that depth chart, not just Johnson or Ragsdale. They were getting, I forget his name. It's like number 35. That's or 31, something like that. I just forgot his name. That's also means they don't have a lot of depth there, but you can't run Torrey into the ground as much, even though he's your most reliable guy, like Darden last year. But I mean, I just expect a competitive game in the first half. Just keep it competitive, play better football than we've seen in the last few weeks. I don't know. I think that's my main goal in this game. We don't have to get down to the nitty gritty stuff, but you know that's why I think they should be doing. Hopefully, they can force turnovers. That's a big thing too.
Yeah, and man, talk about moral victories. But yeah, if it was a 42-21 game, something like that, you know, that would kind of, you know, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It'd be a lot better than the UAB loss. Good God. So if we could do better against an SEC school than we do against UAB, I guess we're going in the uptick right direction. If you want to be as optimistic as you can. All right. So I think we've probably said enough about Missouri. Anything else we need to add about Missouri specifically?
Well, it's their homecoming and they've lost 2 in a row. So I feel like we will see a more angered Missouri team. I mean, the fact
Yeah.
that they lost by 38 at home to at Tennessee, who I don't think they're that great. Tennessee did that. I mean, it's their homecoming too, so I just hope we can keep it competitive. That's really all I have to say about Missouri. They're not that great anyway. I think we should be able to compete in this game. They're not that great, but we have to prove that we can actually stay in the game by not getting hit in the face 28-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, these Tigers are going to come out with their claws out for sure. Um, yeah. Anyway, I know we kind of go over talking points pre-tape and stuff, and it's something I meant to mention, so I'm going to kind of spring this on you, Miles. But before we wrap things up, I want to say something. I want you and I to each say something optimistic or positive that we can
Oh, yeah.
theoretically somewhat justify for the rest of this season. I'll go ahead and go first, and then I'm going to hear what you can dig up on the fly here. Marshall, okay? I forget who. Middle Tennessee, right? They lost to Middle Tennessee. Is that am I
By a
correct on that?
lot, yes. They got
Yes.
dominated in that game.
Right. Coming into this season, I think Marshall was not a favorite, but I mean a high contender in the East at least. And coming, the season they're having, and they're not off to the best start. Not saying we are either, but I will say this: Marshall seems like more possible. I'm not saying probable by any stretch of the means, but Marshall might be a possible win. If we could win that one and be 2-4 and 1-2 in conference, maybe just kind of get a little momentum there. So Marshall has the potential to be a fun game. So everybody should try their best to make it to that Marshall game on that Friday, and we'll see what happens. What can you say, optimistic and positive?
The only not optimistic part of that Marshall game, it's 6 o'clock on a Friday. That sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That just sucks. But at least on TV. But I mean, really, this conference is not that good. I mean, Southern Miss is bad. UTEP is not good for a 4-1 team. I mean, UTEP has played some of the worst teams. I think we could win up to 4 games this year. I really think we can. There's a lot of winnable games in the schedule. I just don't see I see the potential in this team. Coach Bennett really has the defense changed. Gabe Brooks of 24/7 Sports said it perfectly. He was like, I feel so bad for the North Texas defense because they've stepped up so much, but they can't get the production on the other side of the ball. And that's the biggest positive from this year. It's by far the biggest positive. The defense is making plays, stepping up. Deion Noville, blocked freaking punt. Big man getting a block punt. That was probably the play of the year. That was one of my favorite moments I think I've seen him have. Getting a blocked punt. I mean, when was the last time you saw a defensive lineman get a blocked punt? You just don't see that. It's just I feel like they'll bring more energy into this Missouri game.
Kentucky, Florida. I think there was I think a D lineman blocked it. Kentucky when Kentucky upset Florida this past weekend. I think so. Okay. Anyway, but you're right. That is a very rare thing.
I mean, the fact that he's gotten more athletic. I mean, last year there's no way he would have done it last year. There's no way. But it's just glad to see them actually improving, and I think that they're going to be a big factor down the road for this year. Whether it be this game, Marshall. I mean, Liberty is going to be the hardest, in my opinion. Stopping Malik Willis is going to be really hard. But if you put pressure on them, I mean, UAB, of course, they put pressure on us, and they tried to do it to Liberty. It's going to be tough, but I think that there's more optimism, I think, in this team than the spectrum of looking at it. When you look at it from afar, you see just the crapshoot that it's featured in the past few weeks. But I feel like there's a good chance we could see maybe a few more wins. I feel like there is. That's my optimistic side.
There you go, man. I mean, that's definitely possible. And just a quick apology to all of our listeners and you yourself, Miles, that my dog's barking pretty aggressively. He's defending the home front right now. So if anybody heard a dog barking loud in their ears, that's Angelo. And he's just doing his job. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's right. I mean, there's definitely some winnable games, and I know you made a tweet, which I'm sure you probably didn't mean per se. It's probably more of emotional than logical. But you said, "I don't care if we win another game the rest of the season," which I know again you probably didn't mean that. But I would like to,
Oh, if we beat UTSA, I mean,
yeah, oh,
I
yeah,
really
I
do
would
mean that.
honestly, I would
Oh, I
lose. I
mean
would take that.
snap.
I would take
Oh,
that. I would take every single game we lose if we could beat
I,
UTSA. That sounds pathetic, but
I
I
would
would.
just, I would love to lose out and then just beat UTSA and laugh in their face. That would be that. That's more of a victory in the season than anything
Yeah,
else.
that would be
You
cool.
know,
That would be awesome. UTSA
but
may not be one of
really, I
those
mean,
wins though.
I want them to win, but at the same time, if we could just we were really bad going to that game and we just beat them, that would be
Yeah,
so funny. I would love it. They're undefeated. Imagine if they're undefeated, 11-0, we're 1-10, and we go in there
yeah,
and we beat them. That would it would make my year. I would staple that on my Twitter page. UTSA. Oh, I don't even want
that
to
would
get
be.
into that because that's too looking forward to getting disappointed.
Yeah. Let's just scrap it. Scrap the rest of these games. Let's just game plan for UTSA all practice long and just do scout team run their offense and let's just go all in, all chips in the center of the table on
Mhm.
UTSA. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, so if we could get hot, that'd be great. And a 4-win season it's not good, but it's so much better than a 1-win season or a 2-win season. I mean, every win is just a little bit better. Somehow, if we could get to a
Mhm.
5, I mean, that's great. I mean, not to say that that's gonna keep things the same per se or not, but just I'd rather win 4 or maybe even 5 than 1 or 2. That neither one of those seasons are great, but you know like I always say, you got to enjoy every single game to the max amount because football season is so small. You got to take it for what it is. But all right, Miles. Well, anything else we need to add before we hop off?
If you ever read my tweets during the game, don't take them seriously. Just don't, because I think that
I don't. Yeah.
Louisiana Tech game, the UAB game, I just turned off my phone. That was awful. My phone died. I turned it off. But the Louisiana Tech game, I mean, I just wouldn't listen to anything I say until the final whistle blows because most of that is going to be raw emotion at that moment. Mainly when you're on like basically because Louisiana Tech stands are like almost on the field. You're like there in the moment. I just wouldn't listen to what I say. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
I'm gonna have to get you to come on like 30 minutes within 30 minutes after a game sometime and just let you just let you go and just see what happens.
I,
Just see if YouTube cancels us.
I wouldn't
But
want to do. I don't want to disappoint people because that's why I never do post game recaps like the day of because I can't
yeah,
do it. I first of all my voice would probably be out of it. Second of all, no, I just
yeah,
can't. So
yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, all right, Miles. Well, who knows? Excited for the Missouri game nonetheless, and
Hmm.
fingers crossed
Oh,
it's
one
closer
one
than we
last
think.
thing. Renew
Yeah.
buy/renew your basketball season tickets. Buy
Mm,
or renew your best. Do that now. Do that now
yeah.
because they're going by fast. I've already got mine.
Yeah.
People are
That's
getting
a great
theirs.
problem.
My little row's already sold out. The row in front of me is already sold out. Back in 122, right behind the bench. I'm excited. That's all I gotta say about that too.
And Will be tailgating, right?
Will be tailgating all Saturday games, banging on that stupid wall.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Hmm.
exciting stuff. Basketball season will be fun. And
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. Well, always, Miles, thanks for your time and
Hmm.
go Mean Green.
Romaine Green.